We can sit back and go, I lost all these years. You didn't lose the years. There were things that you did that maybe you couldn't have done or wouldn't have done or wouldn't have been adventurous enough to do if you had gone this way at that time in your life.
Did you push record?
Thanks so much for tuning into Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Hey again, Silka.
Hi, Paige. Paige, went through some comments on doing research again on what we're going to talk about, etc. And something that really struck me yesterday when I was going through some of our videos is there were a lot of feelings expressed about regret and regrets at this point in life. And I thought, gosh, this could make a really great topic. Who at this point, after so many years, doesn't have something that they regret? The reason it's important, because if you have, and I read this in articles that I then found, severe regrets can have significant impact on your health, and we don't want that. So talk to me about regrets. I'm sure you run into this a lot.
Well, we all have them at some point in our life, but since we're midlife and beyond, we've had more decades to build the opportunities to say, damn it, I wish I would have. Mm-hmm. I wish I could have. And whenever we go to the would haves and the could haves
and the should haves
and you know how I always say, should is shit, it really sets us up to be more depressed about our life. What we've done, what we've chosen, why we've chosen it. And everybody does it, because I think we also tend to be harder on ourselves as we get older as well, too. We see the younger generations doing certain things and we go, gosh, I wish I could have done that, or I can't do that now because maybe my health is not as good, or, I have a little bit more anxiety, so I don't feel comfortable going on a plane, traveling international. Whatever it might be, or I can't eat the same foods that I could eat when I was in my 20s because of digestion or allergies or whatever it is. So there's always going to be some form of what we say regrets. But there are different ways that we can look at that as well, too.
Yeah. Well, and then there are, the regrets that you can do something about, and then those that you can't do something about, and how you handle that differently. One of the articles pointed out that, like when we did videos about this, I chose not to have children. I don't regret that, but maybe others do. There's nothing I can do about that now. So what I can look at, or people who regret that particular decision, is what was good about that, or what did we learn about that. So talk to me about that, about the severity, the ones that you can do something about, the ones you can't, and how you reinvent life with that in mind.
Well, that's a loaded question that I don't know if like 5 minutes we can get to, but we'll touch on that today, Silka. I think the biggest regret that I hear consistently is the partner or partners that they've chosen. And
well, not my current one, but yeah, that's my biggest regret, my 25 years.
I hear that all the time is, oh my gosh, I gave 10 years of my life or 30 years of my life or 16 years of my life. And I kind of stop them and I go, okay, let's just stop for a moment. What among all those years that were positive that you got from it? Because there has to be something somewhere along the line that you got from it. There's also a lot of lessons, and there's also a lot of inner growth from it. And there's also a lot of skills that come from it that maybe you weren't good at noticing before. That sure, when you had this partner, damn, now I notice it now. So, we can sit back and go, I lost all these years. You didn't lose the years. There were things that you did that maybe you couldn't have done or wouldn't have done or wouldn't have been adventurous enough to do if you had gone this way at that time in your life. And I always say to people too, we make the best choices at the time in our life with the information and the growth that we have at that particular time. So you can continue to beat yourself up about it, about, oh, I wish I would have done this, I wish I would have done that. But if you look at it from this lens and this perspective, it really helps you to kind of look at, okay, wait a minute, let me really look at this from a different slant. So I'll just pause there and get your thoughts on that, Silka.
This is so applies
Timely.
to me because I had to go through all that. That was, like I said, my biggest regret is that the decisions I made at that point. And then it's became, I regretted not having left the marriage earlier. I did waste 10 years. I really did. However, that is something that then got me motivated to do what I'm doing now, which is to jump into what I really wanted to do. And, I am loaded with passion for that topic, which affects so many people.
Yeah.
So I have come to reconcile that and even be grateful for the lessons, for a lot of hurtful,
But you don't want to say it was a waste because then you're minimizing what you just said to me was that helped me to get where I am. So it's not a waste. So you have to really check your language to make sure that you're realizing that nobody's life here is a waste because every experience that we have, no matter how freaking hard or challenging or confusing or whatever, brings us something. It's like, it's like I always say, there's always some type of gifts in the trauma and the challenges that we have.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. That's true.
Because look where you are. I mean, you started this program. I came along, 4 years after that to co-host with you. But because of what you went through, you started this, which we reached thousands and thousands of people. So maybe if you didn't have that going on in that relationship, you wouldn't be here.
Well, and I don't want to make this whole show about me. I can relate. I can relate to you if you feel this
But
way.
that helps other people who are
Yeah.
doing stuff out there who kind of go, what a waste. I could have done this. I could have done that. It's okay to stay in that place of being pissed off, frustrated, angry, and going, holy shit, what did I do? But you can't live there because if you live there, then you don't move on. At some point, you have to kind of go, okay, what were the positive things? What things did I get to do that maybe I didn't get to do before? What did I notice about myself? What did I learn about myself and other people?
So how give us some tips then maybe of putting that into place in a more concrete way perhaps. Do you write it down? How do you advise people to snap out of or deal with regrets?
Yeah, so a good thing to do is, first of all, you have to be open. You have to be ready to say to yourself, okay, can I look back at those years that I think I have wasted or was a regret? So first you have to say, can I do that? So when you're ready to do that, kind of just ponder, okay, what were the things that I liked, even if it was very small? Because you know what? There was something that you liked in all those years. If someone says there's nothing, okay, do you live with the glass half empty? Because that's probably what it is.
That is true.
So, yeah, so look at the things that you did like, even if it was for a short time, okay? Then when you're ready, you can write down like a list of how did I grow? What did I learn about myself that this person put front and center in front of me time and time again that maybe I wasn't quite sure what to do with, or I was fearful to say, or I didn't know how to act, or I didn't know how to communicate? What were those things? And kind of write that down of what those things were. And then also write down some of the things of, was there anything that you liked about that period in your life or about the people in your life or that person in your life? Okay. Then you can go over here and you can write down, what didn't work for you? This isn't a hate thing. I hated this person, son of a bitch, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
This is about what did I not like in that part of my life? What have I learned that doesn't work for me anymore, or that type of personality just doesn't gel with me, or their traits, or how I was at that time in my life? What do I want to shift and change because I know I can? And you'll start to see that there was more things and more growth during that time in your life than there was things that you hated. If you're really going to be honest and you're going to step into your soul, because like I've always said, Silka, we are souls living this human experience. So, we're growing and learning so much. So when you write it down, you can kind of go, okay. Then the next step after that is, okay, so looking back, wow, I did learn, live in so many different ways. And where am I today? And how does that compare? And are there things that I still want to shift and change that maybe were still coming up from that time in my life? Does that make sense?
Makes total sense. What about turning the table, if you will, in that a regret about you being, a jerk and having hurt somebody?
That's a good question. So number one, are you honest to look at that? That's the first thing. Are you ready to open that up? And then I'd write down on a piece of paper, what are the situations that maybe what you played into wasn't your best place in your life? And then the people that maybe you feel like you hurt, because you know what? We all hurt each other, whether some of us do it intentionally out of fear, anger, our own betrayal hurt, or we just do it because it just happens. So just know that we all hurt each other.
Yeah.
So kind of write that down as to, what situations do you wish you would act differently in? And then what people? And then if you want to take the step of reaching out to them and saying, look, I remembered when I did this, I just want to say that I'm coming from my heart and I'm really sorry. This is what I was going through back then. Maybe it wasn't an excuse, but this is who I was, where I was, and what I was battling, but I just want to let you know. And if that doesn't feel comfortable to you, you can do a heart-to-heart where you visualize the person, you come down to your heart center, and in your heart center, you apologize and you say all the things to that person, and you visualize a bridge going from your heart to their heart. And then you send this. And on a soulful level, 100% of the time, they get it, they feel it. And a good percentage of the time, what I've seen is somehow this person reconnects with you, or something happens in a really interesting way that they get the message one way or another. It's not 100%, but that you'll get something back from them, but it will get to them 100%. So there's another way that you can do something if you don't feel comfortable sending an email, text, or finding that person or talking to that person.
Well, or if that person's deceased.
And you can still, if that person is deceased, you can still bring up the visualization, because when you send it to the heart center, it's going to their soul.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
I said we're already going longer than usual, but this is such an important topic, I think, that touches so many people. And I'm getting emotional thinking about some things. And I think one part is forgiveness, too. You have to forgive yourself. And talk to me about that real quickly.
The other person, and the situation, and the details and the parameters around the situation. So people always say, oh, you just have to forgive yourself and the person. Yes, but you also have to forgive everything that was going on that bled into that situation, whether you had health issues or there was something with the job, or there was a location. So there's so many different things, because if you hold on to it, you're just holding on to the worst parts of it, and you're just keeping yourself stuck in so many ways.
Yeah. Well, how would you like to close the segment out? What's the best?
Well, let's see, Silka. There's a lot that I said. So just know we're all souls living in this human flesh, and it's okay. We make mistakes. That's all right, because we're supposed to. Did you get a plan book when you walked into this lifetime? Because I didn't.
No,
it's the same thing.
I want one next time.
You can have one next time until you come back in human form and forget all over again.
Paige, we'll see you next time on Our Second Act with Paige and Silka.
For your second act of life. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us. If you haven't already done so, please be sure to subscribe to our channel. The button is right over here. Just click on through to YouTube. When you see the little bell right next to the subscribe button, click that too. You'll be notified every time we launch a new video. See you next time.